Then my first public appearance, we went to Delhi and I couldn't get off my car. There were people climbing everywhere.
Wow.
There were people who were falling down the escalators in a mall. I also remember there was this ad in the paper saying that we need a secretary like Jussie and looks don't matter.
Oh, wow.
SRK came in with his kids and he's like, Jussie, my kids watch you and they love you and they don't eat dinner without watching your show. I was like, yeah. I froze. Amir sir came up to me and he's like, Mona, you slapped me. There was this time in life where I didn't know what else to do. You know, we as human beings are taught to be hard on ourselves. I am very kind to myself. I love myself.
Welcome to How the Hell Did I Do It, Mona. It
Thank
is
you, Garishma.
Lovely to see you. And there are so many iconic roles that come up when I'm looking at you that I'm so excited.
Oh, thank you.
You've broken so many stereotypes. And like we've been through, so everybody here has been researching you for the past couple of days. So we know everything. But so
Okay.
excited to know from your perspective, right? That there's been so many different things that
Yeah.
have happened in your life as a journey.
Yes.
I want to begin a little bit from the beginning.
Okay.
Your childhood. You know, you've always spoken about how your parents have been super supportive, whether
Yes.
of your choices or of just you in general. So talk to me a little bit about your formative growing up years.
So dad was in the army, you know, every 2-3 years we used to get posted out. We were mostly in the east, yeah, and you know the schools used to be really tiny, very tiny army camps. So always traveled everywhere. But then we started getting posted in metropolitan cities like Delhi, Calcutta. All that happened, and that was the time I started to realize कि acting करनी है.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When I was a kid.
Do you remember that one moment, you know, where you thought that this is when, like, you know, that voice comes that this is for me?
Well, there wasn't such one moment, but anyway, you know, my career choices used to keep changing with age.
Yeah, as
Always.
does everybody's. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that happens with everybody. So I think I was in my 8th or 9th grade when I decided that I want to be an actor because there was this school skit happening and I ended up directing, I ended up writing and also acting in it with many other kids. But then all the teachers were telling my parents that she's damn good, ye to actor hi banegi. I was like, chalo fir. They have decided.
And what did your parents say with this acting?
They
choice?
laughed it off. They're like, oh, she's too young, you know, we'll see how it goes. But not once they shunned the idea or anything, but they were just laughing and celebrating. All society fashion shows and dramas and skits, I used to, you know, actively participate. Dance competitions, I used to participate. So it was always there in me.
Yeah.
And my sister was a bookworm. So I used to be the playful one everywhere in everyone's houses, climbing trees, playing cricket, everything.
The cutest little fact is that your sister Sona and you are Mona.
Mona.
And you know, when you kind of made it through the years from high school to college to you know, eventually when you have to get like the job,
Yeah.
that period you've kind of spoken about, you know, where you were auditioning aggressively
Yes.
to
yes.
become an actor. How was the journey of coming to Bombay? Because you know, that's always an exciting one, but a daunting one. It could be so many different emotions. How was that?
Yes, of course. You see, I didn't know anybody from the industry. I was here just on my own and, you know, trying to do things on my own. I didn't even know any coordinators or friends in Bombay with whom I could go and just stay. So I used to travel from Pune. Pune was my dad's last posting. So from there, I used to get onto the Asiad bus every morning, audition for ads, only ads at that point of time, and go back home. And then I realized ye ads, so matlab, you know, I was just getting calls that you're shortlisted, but never getting confirmed. I was like, okay, you know, I should try something else. So I also remember just going back to school days, I used to watch a lot of Banegi Apni Baat, Diya Tony's show, Banegi Apni Baat, Campus. So yeah, I wanted to meet them. So they were on my list. So I called them. I was like, chalo, you know, let me try for TV if ads aren't really working out. So I did 2-3 ads and then I met Diya Tony. And then, of course, you know, I auditioned for Jussie.
I mean,
Jussie happened. That was the year 2003, I think in the month of May or June. And I moved to Bombay. Yes, I was all alone and It wasn't scary in the beginning because I was shooting 24 hours. I was shooting every single day.
Wow.
Every single day. But it's just that after 1 year, I told my parents, ki, you know what, just come to Bombay. Ab nahi hota mujhse. I just get very, very lonely. I was
Yeah.
like, there's no one home asking me if I've eaten, if I've slept, I'm
Yeah.
well rested. So then they, you know, happily, graciously
sweet.
came to Bombay and started staying with me.
We put a little fast forward in
Oh.
this journey of Jassi. We must stress on it just purely because of how iconic
Yes.
it was. I've watched it.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I remember, you know, it was that kind of show that the whole family sat and was
Yeah.
like really invested in the journey
Yes.
of this girl, you know,
Hmm.
who's kind of breaking these beauty standards, these beauty
Yes.
norms at a time when it wasn't as conventional as it is today.
It still isn't.
I
You
mean,
see,
yeah.
people are, because of OTT, yes,
Yes,
it is.
yeah.
It is now.
Yeah.
But yeah, back then definitely.
No, yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people did tell me, "Are you sure? What if there's no makover? What are you going to do?" I was like, "It's okay. You know, I really love the story."
Yeah.
I was like, and I want to be a part of it. And I'm playing Jassi. The show is Jassi Jaisi Koi Nahi.
It's about me.
It's about me. But what a fab debut. It changes. It changed so many things, you know,
Yeah.
the way women were perceived, or to give jobs, or to get married, or anything for that matter. I also remember there was this ad in the paper saying that we need a secretary like Jassi and looks don't matter.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it was quite a crazy wave with Jassi.
Tell me, how was the auditioning process for something like this? You know, because it's such an iconic role and you were not from the industry.
Yeah.
And I know you said that you've given very many auditions.
Yes.
But what was it like for you? And how did you feel? What was that moment when you heard that you've been shortlisted for this?
So I'll tell you, when I met Diya Tony, that time they were talking about this show, Jassi, but they didn't tell me anything about it. So I kept coming to Bombay every single day. They kept auditioning me in all different looks, sometimes with a fringe, sometimes with thick glasses, soda glasses, you know, shabby clothes or whatever. So first audition, second, third, fourth, 10th, 20th. And then I told Diya, I was like, Diya, I am spending a lot of money coming from Pune to Bombay. You're calling me for the same audition. You're just changing looks every day. You're not even telling me what is happening. Please tell me at least, kuch ho raha hai, nahi ho raha hai. Or should I, you know, look somewhere else? So she's like, nahi, this is a very big show. You can't talk about it and blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you next week. I was like, okay, done. Then the next week when I came to Bombay, she took me to Sony office. And everybody was waiting for me to, you know, just come there. And I cut a cake. And then everybody was like, oh, welcome aboard.
Wow.
And the channel signed me on, which has, you know, which rarely happens. Because it's usually the production house which, you know, signs an artist for a show. So I was like, really? This is such a big deal. So then Diya told me ki, you know, mahine mein ek baar chutti dene ki koshish karenge. I was like, ha, she's joking. And actually she wasn't.
So please give me 1 day off.
1 day off.
Oh my God.
But yeah, and then the most overwhelming part was when my first appearance happened in Delhi. So the channel kept me under wraps, of course. You know, there was a lot of thing going on, how she looks like and whatever. Then my first public appearance, we went to Delhi and I couldn't get off my car. There were people climbing everywhere.
Wow.
There were people who were falling down the escalators in a mall. I was supposed to go to that mall that is shut now. I've forgotten the name of that mall. They had broken the stage. I couldn't come out of my car. And I remember I was crying, looking at everybody. I was like, is this for me?
Wow, yeah.
And I called my dad and I told him, I was like, Papa, main to star ban gayi.
Sweet.
So he was like, beta, celebrate it, yaar. And always have your head on your shoulders. That's it. I was
So
like, done.
So very important question here. You know, you've seen so many different facets at such a young age where, yes, there's stardom, but there's also a very conscious and rigorous work ethic where
Yes.
you're working 24/7.
Yes.
You get like 1 day off in a month.
Not anymore.
Not any. I mean, back then.
Back then, yes.
And you're being celebrated for you know, doing something that wasn't typically done before.
Yes.
What are some of the lessons that you learned during that period, and something that you possibly could carry with you till today?
You know, the lessons I learned was just, it's just that you have to, there is no escape from hard work. There is no shortcut
Mm.
in this industry. There isn't, or anywhere in life, you know. And one has to be driven to be able to work the kind of work that we were doing at that point of time.
Yeah.
You have to be. You have to be passionate about it. Otherwise, you know, you can just burn out and give up.
Yeah.
Because it does get very, very challenging. TV is very challenging, and especially for protagonists who are there in every scene. So we used to be doing like 15, 20 scenes a day.
Wow.
Yeah, and then also the fact that, you know, people were celebrating Jassi, people were celebrating me. I didn't want it to, you know, just go to my head. I didn't want to be a one-show wonder. I wanted to do so much more.
Yeah.
So yes, always, you know, kicked about life
Yeah.
and fully charged. Yeah, back then.
Any actor or actress who you really wanted to share screen space with?
So while we were shooting for Jassi, I remember we were in Film City, and SRK had come there with his kids.
Huh.
He was shooting there, so he had come there with his kids, and our set was next to his.
Huh.
And he got to know from his people that, you know, Jassi ki shooting chal rahi hai. SRK came in with his kids, and he's like, Jassi, my kids watch you and they love you and they don't eat dinner without watching your show. I was like, yeah. I froze. I had forgotten my dialogues and my director was on some other trip. He's like, "Arey, light ja rahi hai." I was like, just shut up. What are you saying? It's SRK in front of you. So that incident happened. Then I remember Hum Tum,
Huh.
Rani Mukherjee,
Yeah,
Saif
Saif,
Ali
yeah.
Khan. That movie was releasing, and for the first time, you know, a movie promotion was happening through a series, through a television
Huh.
series.
Yeah.
That was Jassi.
Hmm.
So Saif had come to our set, and he and I did some 2-3 scenes together. I was like, wow, you know, the industry is coming here to promote their movies,
That's crazy.
which had never happened.
Yeah.
It's happening now when they go for all the reality shows and
Yeah.
stuff.
Like the comedy shows.
Comedy
yeah.
shows.
Hmm.
But back then, 20 years ago, who would have thought?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just celebrating. I wanted to work with every actor. Shah Rukh Khan, Amir Khan, Saif Ali Khan, Kareena, Deepika, no, not Deepika back then,
Yeah.
Madhuri,
Yeah.
Juhi, all of them, Kajol.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's like I've met all of them. I know them.
Yeah.
It just feels so good.
And,
And doing things on your own.
yeah.
You know.
And making it through the
Yes,
through the
yes.
rungs. And you mentioned a very two interesting names. You said Amir Khan and Kareena Kapoor.
There you go.
Yeah. Of course, we have to talk about Three Idiots.
Yeah.
It was such a, like, it felt good to see you in that movie, you know, in
Thank
that
you.
role. And,
Yeah.
you know, that role, even that, you know, when you were delivering on that, in the middle of that boys' doll.
TT table.
Yeah. And you had comic timing even then. You know, it was just funny.
Yeah.
What was the experience? Like, not that in particular, just acting with Amir Khan, just acting with Kareena Kapoor.
So, you know, honestly, it wasn't intimidating because all of them were just so grounded and so beautiful. They kept rehearsing with all of us, with me. They kept saying, "Arey Mona, tum to star ho, Jassi, we love you." All that was going on. I was like, really, what is happening here? You know, because nobody is acting starry.
Yeah.
Nobody. And, you know, we all think like that, you know, coming from a place, from a background where it's not filmy at all. And then you have these, you know, preconceived notions about every actor.
Yeah.
But none of them were like that, how I had thought them to be.
Correct.
So loving, funny, pranksters, all of them. We played cricket, but the last TT wala scene was pretty intense. All men around me, and all of them telling me, my wife did this, my wife did this. Raju sir telling me, my wife kicked me out. Madhavan telling me, my wife bit me. I was like, "Arey, you tell me what am I supposed to do?" I was like, what should I do? So then Amir sir came up to me and he's like, "Mona, you slap me." I was like, slap? He's like, हाँ, just slap me. तो मैंने कहा, ठीक है, I'll slap. So then I slapped and it wasn't hard enough. So he's like, नहीं, थप्पड़ मारो, असली वाला थप्पड़ मारो. I was like, okay, and I went full Sardarni Josh. And I remember his bodyguard staring at me. I was like, sorry.
What was his reaction when he gave him the hard slap?
Arey, he was staring at me. The bodyguard was staring at me,
Acha.
but Sir continued acting because that's what he loves. He,
Yeah.
you know, he wants it to be all real.
Yeah.
So I gave it all real. But what a scene it turned out to be.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. I remember telling Raju sir, kya hai, it's itna chota sa role hai.
Hmm.
And I remember he telling me that, you know, no role is big or small, Mona, is what you think of yourself. I was like, done.
Done.
I was like, I'll always remember this. Always.
And what are some of the other special memories with, say, Kareena or Amir Khan, like you were saying? We interviewed him actually, and he said, you know, there's a preconceived notion about me. I'm not a perfectionist.
Acha, he is.
So I want to know from you, is he?
He is, yeah. We all know he is. He likes to do things in a, you know, perfect manner.
Yeah.
He will not give up till the time he doesn't get what he wants.
Hmm.
And which is so good.
Yeah.
Like sometimes even today when, you know, we are shooting and ek scene agar okay ho gaya, one take, I say nahi, feel nahi aayi, let's do it again.
Hmm.
So they're like, acha, are you sure? I'm like, ha, let's just do it again.
Hmm.
We do it again, then we do it again, and then the director says, nahi, the first take was good.
We
I was
go back to
"Acha,
it."
let's go back to it.
And
Yeah.
what was the reaction after Three Idiots? Like, did you get that? Not validation, but did you get that? Okay, yeah, you know, he made sense. That it was not a small role. It's
Yeah.
how I did it.
It didn't feel like a small role at all after the movie released and
Yeah.
all that happened along with Three Idiots. You know, people were going crazy with the movie. We got so much love, so much appreciation. Wherever I went, people, instead of talking about Jussie, suddenly started talking about Three Idiots. You know, so I was like, oh wow, the reach is massive.
Yeah.
I was like, and this is something so beautiful that I was a part of it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And on the personal front, right? You've mentioned this very interesting thing. You said you wanted to get married ever since you were 5.
Yeah. Yes.
And I mean, I can almost sense it was there's so many girls who have that. You know,
Girls.
मुझे शादी करनी है.
Shaadi karni hai. Yeah.
And you got married in what society terms relatively late.
Yes.
And you've spoken about it also
Yeah,
very
yeah.
openly. So talk to us about that. You know, parallelly, what was happening in the personal life when all of these massive things are happening on the professional front. How was it like on the personal side?
It was beautiful. You see, I'm the kind of person who balances personal life and professional life. I like that balance. So I've always, you know, gone on vacations with my parents, spent time with my sister, my friends. So personal life was beautiful. It's just that I wasn't in the right relationships, you know. I was kind of feeling a little lost, then okay. But professionally, I was celebrating, so I was very happy about that. I was like, theek hai, yeah, you know, every time, everything is not perfect.
Correct.
So it's okay. I was dealing with my own issues personally. But then I was also single for quite some time, and I was celebrating it. I really wasn't in a hurry to get married at that point of time because suddenly life happened.
Yeah.
You know, industry happened, great shows were happening. I was like, you know, marriage can wait.
What
It's-
phase was this?
This was around 2006, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I was 26, 27.
Yeah.
I was like, abhi nahi karni shaadi. I was like, work is so good.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to my friends who were married. They're like, yeah, yaar, it's so boring to get married. I was like, really? Aur karo jaldi shaadi. You know, as a kid, I think because I always wanted to dress up and wear makeup and I always loved the brides. So I wanted to get married. But then later, as you grow up, you know, life happens and you realize, okay, this is not the only thing left to do. And one can take it easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was the time I started realizing कि कोई जल्दी नहीं है.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did the pressure ever kick in, either from society or just people around you, right? When you crossed a certain age. And I ask this because every time we have conversations with women,
Yeah.
that looming marriage question / biological clock
Yeah.
/ settle down
We all have
takes
faced
over.
it.
Yeah. So how was it like for you once you say crossed into your 30s?
30s. You see, it was never my parents talking about it. I mean, we used to discuss. It's not that it was like a taboo not talking about marriage at home. We used to discuss. My parents used to say, "Ki kya karna hai? You know, are you thinking about it?" I was like, "See, I'm very sure about one thing. It has to be love marriage for me. I cannot marry a stranger. I cannot." I was like, it's better to know a known devil than an unknown one. I was like, it's best to, you
the
know.
line of the show.
Yeah, well, that is how it is. So, and I was also like, कि मुझे Bombay से कहीं और नहीं जाना. I was like, I need to be with you. Because you see, we are just two sisters. And my older sister, she's married and settled in Australia. So I realized one thing, कि parents are only going to get older. So I should be with them. So 30s mein, the only pressure I was getting from outside was from journalists. Every interview, every event, every show launch, the only question I was asked was, when are you getting married? When are you getting married? शादी कब कर रहे हो? I was like, इनको क्या करना है मेरी शादी से?
How's it relevant?
I was like, how does it matter? What are they doing for me in my life anyway?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So just because it's a trendy thing to ask a single woman when is she getting married,
Exactly.
so I was like, it's none of your business. I will get married when I have to.
Yeah.
So I've always been very, you know, straightforward with my response, and I did not take any kind of pressure. But now when in 2019 I got married and I gave my first interview, the first question the journalist asked me, when are you having kids now? I was like, Arey.
I'll go according to your
I was like, guys, get a life.
Then you have one kid, then I'm like, second kid.
Second kid कब हो रहा है? अरे मैं क्यों बताऊं? It's my life. Whether I want to have a child, I don't want to have a child. It's my life.
Yeah.
You know, let me live it on my terms.
100%.
Yeah. So I've never taken the pressure of being answerable.
Yeah, and I've been itching to ask you this question because I'm in a similar phase in life where, you know, you kind of defied that biological clock. You froze your egg. Talk to me a little bit about that decision because it's so refreshing to hear. You know, just like it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal.
And so many women, you'll be surprised because we've told stories on our platform about women who've frozen their eggs.
Yeah.
Have a lot of hesitation and have a lot of preconceived notions about freezing eggs. You know that it's painful or it's you know, like I don't know, you know, like we don't know how men will perceive it. There are very many permutations, combinations related to egg freezing.
Egg freezing.
So I just wanted you to talk to me a little bit about that.
So our family gynecologist, who's also in, he's no more now. He used to be in Pune, and he's the one who came over for dinner with his wife and told my parents and myself that, you know, you should think of freezing your eggs because yes, clock is ticking, and even if you know, don't want to get married in the next 5 years, at least you have this, you know, and you have frozen your eggs, and whenever you want to have a baby, you know, you can always rely on that. So I was like, okay, you know, this kind of makes sense. I was like, so how much time, you know, will this whole procedure require? So he said about 3 to 6 months, and maybe sometimes it can be a bit painful because you will, you know, go through a lot of mood swings. Your body, you know, will change a little with hormones being injected. So you will bloat some days. Some days you will not feel good about yourself, but it's only 3 to 6 months. You do it once and then you forget about it. And then get married whenever you want to. No pressure. At least you're not marrying the wrong guy for a baby. So I was like, theek hai, you know, it just makes a lot of sense. And my parents and I, my mom and I, we went for all my tests, and I did it in Pune. I took a break from TV. I took a break from work. I wasn't doing anything. I was at home. And yeah, in 4 months, we finished the procedure.
Wow.
And back then, it was still very expensive, and it isn't now.
Yeah.
It's become pretty affordable for everybody.
Correct.
People even get EMIs. You can take a loan for egg freezing. So things have become way easier now.
Yeah.
And women should consider who are not planning to get married soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how was your you know, journey through the procedure, through the different cycles that, you know, the injections and things? It's manageable in that sense.
It is manageable, yeah. You got to be with your loved ones who look after you. Yeah. Take care of your mood swings, handle your tantrums. It all works out.
Yeah. And how did you feel after? Did you feel the sense
I
of
felt as if, oh, this is a marathon I've won. I was like, yeah.
Now it's like stress-free. You can
now
do
it is
stress-free.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking whether to have or not.
Yeah. But still, the option is
there.
Yeah.
It is there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And now I'm most excited to know about your love story. Because at Humans of Bombay, we're hardcore romantics. Any love story we run to.
I'm a hardcore romantic.
How did you meet? Where did you meet? How was it?
So I think I met him in 2015 or 14. I'm not very sure. And I met him at a friend's birthday party. And he was single, I was single, and we both were kind of flirting, looking at each other, but I was like, whatever. So I told my friend, I was like, ye to bada cool hai, kaun hai? So she's like, he's also asking about you. I was like, okay, then don't give me his number, let him ask for mine. So she's like, acha, you want to do that? I was like, yeah, might as well. Old school.
Yeah.
Let him chase. I said, I don't want to chase. But yeah, so after that party, 2-3 days after that, I heard from Sham, my husband, and he messaged me, asked me out for coffee. I denied. I was busy. I was busy. And then I think we met after some 20 days. We met. It was a good evening we had. Then we went for a movie. We had a good time. But what I didn't like was throughout the movie, he was talking to me. I was like, Arey, you can't do that, yeah. In movies, you got to get lost there, not here. So,
Which movie was it?
तो उसके बाद तो मैंने movie ही नहीं देखी with him. I don't remember which movie was it. It was a Hindi film.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one we saw. After that, we didn't go for a movie date because I realized he's not a good movie partner.
Yeah. I'm interested in the film.
Yeah. So we then did a couple of dinners and lunches. Then we met all friends, and I wasn't sure. I really wasn't sure. So I used to keep running in and running out. Non-committal, absolutely non-committal. And then, you know, my friends told me that, why are you running away? It's been 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years. I was in and out, in and out, in and out. But he was so consistent, you know, that I really liked that about him. I was like, yaar, ye sahi hai. I was like, he's not giving me any attitude for behaving stupid because I was not giving any commitment. And then on my birthday, 2019, he proposed. And it was a bad proposal, of course. It was very funny.
What was the proposal?
So he had this massive truck, Isuzu. So he got that car to fetch me, and he made a very lame excuse that he wants to go to buy a kurta. I was like, "ठीक है, चलो." So I got into the car and we went towards the back road of my house. There's a garden there. So I was like, where are you going? I was like, you know, this is the back road. I was like, that shop is on the other side. He's like, yeah, यहाँ से चले जाएंगे थोड़ा लंबा. I was like, okay. Then he stopped the car midway and he's like, he opened the glove compartment, took out the ring and made me wear the ring. He didn't ask me anything. He just made me wear the ring. He's like, please say yes. I was like, yes. I was like, you have made me wear the ring. I was like, you have left me with no option.
It's already on my finger.
And पीछे से there was this BST bus wala, rickshaw wala. They all are screaming, shouting, abusing because he's parked in the middle of the road. And then, of course, he got nervous, started driving, and after 2 minutes, he realized, oh, I forgot to play the song. And then he plays the song. I was like, Shamu, I'm never going to forget this proposal in my life. I was like, I was thinking you'll fly me somewhere, you know, and have those rose petals and all showered on us. And but anyway.
Instead, it was traffic.
Yeah, there was traffic, Bombay traffic. Yeah, but it was the sweetest proposal. So I said yes. And then December, we got married.
And when did you know he was the one? Since you said, you know, that you were in and out.
I knew he was the one, but it was just that I was too scared of a commitment. I was just getting cold feet.
Yeah.
I was like, Shadi? Really? Shadi? No. I was running away.
That's so interesting because if, you know, for somebody who dreamt of getting married since a very young age, to have those cold feet, where do you think that stemmed from?
I think it just comes with, you know, when you see other people's relationships, you see your own, you realize, ki, oh, you know, the guy you fell for is not the kind of guy you wanted in life. Then you see your friends and your career is doing good. You're not sure about how the person is going to take it. What is he going to say? Will I have to get out of Bombay? You know, there were too many things going on. And then, of course, Sham is from Bombay, so which was a very good thing for me. Lives very close by. Again, a very plus point for me. I was like, okay, and he's, you know, in a good working space also. He's from the same industry, but advertisements. So I was like, same field, he will understand, you know, our vibe. And then, I think some sense prevailed. And I told my mom. Then my sister called, Sona. And she told me, yeah, he seems like a good guy. What's your problem? I was like, okay, let me think about it. And then he proposed.
And then it was done. The finger was on the ring.
It was done. I didn't overthink too much then.
And how's married life been since?
Pretty good. You see, I have a partner in crime now for everything. And we celebrate each other. We don't want to change each other for anything. Change only for good. But otherwise, I accept him. He accepts me the way we are. And I love that about him. Also, he loves my parents and I love his. Same, simple families, simple values, same values. We love to travel. We love to talk about our work. We both are, pretty passionate and driven about what we do. So yeah, there's lots to talk about. There's lots to look forward to. And we also recently, got a farm together. So we are
Wow.
growing vegetables. We are doing
Wow.
all that we both, individually wanted to do
Yeah.
sometime in life. And now we're doing it together.
Hmm.
So life has become better after marriage.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so refreshing to hear.
Yeah. And that can only happen when you take your time to get married.
And it's the right person.
And not be under any pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's one of the most special memories outside of the proposal? What is one of your happiest times during your marriage?
I think it was the lockdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because 2019 we got married. 2020 the lockdown happened. We were shooting for Lal Singh in Jan and Feb. March we all came back. Lockdown happened. And that was the time we actually started, discovering each other. Because uske pehle, we had never gone out on a vacation together. We were, going on dates and with friends and dinners and stuff. But here we were 24/7 together.
Yeah.
So he made me break all rules. I'm a very disciplined person, and he's not. He's just the opposite.
Yeah.
So we were watching Game of Thrones together. I think I was the last one left to watch the
Game
show.
of Thrones.
Game
Yeah,
of Thrones.
I mean, of course.
Yes,
It's my
yes.
all-time favorite.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what my husband kept saying.
Yeah.
You don't know what the show is. You don't know. I was like, okay, let's watch it
Let's
now.
watch it, yeah.
And the good thing was we could watch all seasons back to back. Didn't have to wait for any
Yeah.
new season to release. So
Did you get obsessed?
I did.
Yeah.
I got obsessed. So we used to start watching from 8 p.m.
Huh.
and we used to continue watching till 6 a.m.
What?
Yes. Then sleep till 1 p.m. And wake up, have lunch. And I had never lived that life. I was
yeah.
like, ye kya ho raha hai? But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Lockdown was my best memory with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds it. So you mentioned Lal Singh Chaddha. And,
Yes.
I know that you have been bombarded with this interview question about playing Amir Khan's mother.
Yeah, I have been.
And you have a great answer also, so I will not ask that question.
Oh, great, thank
Yeah.
you.
But a question I will ask is, how did the relationship evolve from Three Idiots to Lal Singh Chaddha?
He started calling me mummy. Amir sir is so sweet. He called me last year on Mother's Day.
What?
Yes. He sent me first a voice note and I couldn't believe. I was like, really? Is he doing that? And then he did made a video call and he was sitting with his mother. He's like, Mona, मैं अपनी अम्मी के साथ बैठा हूँ और हम दोनों तुम्हारी बातें कर रहे हैं. I was like, अरे यार sir, क्या बात कर रहे हो? He's like, हाँ, happy Mother's Day to you. You have done such a phenomenal job in the film, Mona. I was like, so imagine coming this from him, yeah.
So sweet.
He doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
So I just felt so special. He made me feel so special. So that's the bond we share.
Yeah.
It's like, it's this.
So sweet.
I love him. I have immense respect for Amir sir.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. It was such a joy working with him on the sets of Lal Singh Chaddha.
Yeah.
We worked after 10 years. Kareena, me, and AK. So it was a great feeling. I think it happens very rarely in an actor's career that he or she gets to work with Amir sir twice.
What was the happiest memory on that set?
Happiest memory on that set? Oh, so ironical. It was my dying scene.
It's a bit morbid.
Yeah. It wasn't the happiest moment, but it was one of the most satisfying and fulfilling moments. Because I remember when we finished shooting that scene, nobody was talking. Suddenly, everybody was just so quiet. And I mean everybody.
Wow.
Lightmen, setting, camera, assistants, ADs. And we all watched the scene on the monitor, and after 5 minutes, everybody was either crying or clapping or hugging.
Yeah.
Oh, we created magic. Oh, this is beautiful. This is extraordinary. I felt so good. I'll never forget that moment. How how everybody was just hugging each other that we've got the scene.
Yeah, I mean, you've done a good job, if it creates that kind of an impact
Yeah, I
on
just
set.
felt so good, so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And also my tractor driving scene, I loved it.
Obviously, out of the movies, you've done so much good work even on OTT and as relevant as ever. Like I was just telling you offline that I loved your character arc in Made in Heaven.
Oh, yeah.
You go from really being like, this is a really bugging character,
Yeah.
to being like, oh wow,
Yeah.
that I remember the scene, where you your back was shown from that, and I
Yes.
was like, oh my god, I
Nobody expected that.
yeah, I was like, I was so horrible to her in my head, because I was like, what has she been through? And then,
Yeah.
when it came out, how's the experience been on OTT? And, with these actors, Shobita and all of these guys on Made in Heaven, how's that process been?
Oh, phenomenal. I am celebrating OTT. I am so happy about the fact that we in India have embraced OTT and how.
Yeah.
Because I think 5 years from 2016 or 17, I knew that, this thing is going to really come in a big way.
Yeah.
Because 2017, I did my first web series, which was called Ye Meri Family with TVF. It aired on Netflix also. And I knew कि यही है अब, so I took a break from TV, and now it's been some 7-8 years. I'm not doing it, and OTT has come in. There's so much to do for women. There's so much for women. There's so many characters. We are flawed, we are grey, we are positive, we are doing everything, and I'm loving this whole change. With Made in Heaven, working with Shobita, Arjun, Shashank, Shivani. There's such good people, such good actors. I wish I had worked with Jim and Kalki also in the show, but didn't. But stellar cast, stellar makers. I mean, look at Zoya, Reema, Alankrita, Nitya, Neeraj Gewan. What makers, yeah. We had umpteen number of readings, workshops. And then, Bulbul came out. So yes, and that scene that you mentioned on my back, it took about 6 hours for prosthetic makeup on my back, and then we shot that scene. So I remember every scene was just turning out to be so beautiful and powerful on camera that. When we went for the screening, we all were celebrating. I also remember Zoya sending me a message when I was signed for Made in Heaven that, let's make Bulbul Jory extraordinary.
Oh, wow.
I was like, yes, Zoya, we got to.
Yeah.
So the pressure was there. And of course, I was a fan of Made in Heaven franchise already. So I was more than happy and delighted to be a part of it, yeah. And I'm so glad everything just worked out beautifully.
And I think that from season 1 to season 2, your character emerged as one of those characters that you're imperative to the show. Or, and it happened in a very organic way.
Yeah.
And I just loved how the trajectory...
Seriously, I just loved it.
Yeah.
So many tracks and such beautiful writing. I loved the writing. Zoya, Reema, Alankrita, they all have written it.
Yeah.
That time they didn't know what is happening with Bulbul, and now that when we talk about Bulbul, whenever we meet, they're like, bhai, hame to, this is crazy. It's just blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, so much love,
Yeah.
so much love.
Yeah. I have a question at this point, about, sometimes there are certain controversies that happen around shows. Obviously, there was one with Made in Heaven, one or two with Made in Heaven. And, sometimes when films don't necessarily work, there was the whole cancel movement when Lal Singh Chaddha came.
Boycott, yeah.
So how do you deal with that as an actor, as a human being? Because at the end of the day, it's your labor, right? It's your labor of love. And as a creator, when you create something and something that's magical, how do you kind of deal with that?
See, at that point of time, I did feel bad. We're all humans, yeah. I did take it personally. I was like, what is happening? But I kept thinking somewhere, positively at the back of my mind that maybe, the boycotters will understand that the movie is a special movie. When, others go talk about it, watch the movie, people will turn around. But that did happen when it came on Netflix. People started appreciating the movie a lot. And I knew that, I even know now that at some point of time, Lal Singh will get a cult status. It will. It's just that at that point of time, it didn't get the kind of love that it should have. I think it just came out at a wrong time. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But with Made in Heaven, we all were feeling bad. Ki ye kya ho raha hai? You know, why this? You know, makers of that stature will never take a risk like this.
Of course.
Never.
Yeah.
So why would people, you know, talk about such things and come up with unnecessary controversies that this story is mine, this track is mine? That ain't happening, because these makers are not going to do that to you.
Yeah, the
And
serious.
They'll never do that to you. And if they will give you the credit.
Correct.
Always.
Yeah.
So people should choose their battles, I feel. But now that the show did well, people appreciated it, the controversy is dead.
Right. Yeah.
Dead.
So it brings me to an important question about social media and digital. You know, there is such a huge, I mean, especially from when you were in Jussie, where this was not there.
Yeah.
This frenzy, this madness, and now there is, and you can either be made or broken very quickly, depending upon which waters you are wading in. What's your take? Like, have you ever faced any kind of trolling? I didn't find a lot about that.
Never.
Never.
Touch wood, thank God. But if I do, I'll choose to ignore it.
Yeah. And do you enjoy social media?
I do.
Yeah.
I do enjoy social media. I think when people say कि अच्छा OTT पे ये show आया है, people how is it? When the minute they ask how is it, I think the best answer you will get it in social media. The minute people start talking about a show, matlab it's a hit. You know, the word of mouth is so strong, and the immediate validation you get nowadays is through social media.
Yeah.
People instantly start reposting, talking about it, and you know, there's a whole buzz that goes about a show.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Kala Pani, Made in Heaven, you know. So I enjoy social media. I choose my words wisely. I am not too hooked on or too addicted to social media. I'm not. I don't post every day everything, what I'm eating, what I'm wearing, where I'm going. I keep it personal. But when it comes to work or some nice pictures that I want to share from holiday, I do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no pressure of increasing followers or anything of that sort.
That doesn't matter.
I don't take that pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, given all of these different things that we've spoken about, you seem at such a great place in your life, touch wood.
Thank
where,
you.
You know, your work is amazing in the very many capacities that you've worked in. You have a farm. You have a great married life. So what is it now? You know, that you're like, okay, I want to do this or I want to do that. Like, just give me a peek into your head about what it's looking like for you.
I also want to produce shows.
Wow.
I really want to, because you see, being an actor, being around for almost 20 years, watching so many stories and being a part of so many shows and content, I think I know what I want to, you know,
Get
produce.
into, yeah.
Or I think what I would want to watch as an individual, as a viewer, as an actor. So those are the kind of stories that I want to tell. So my husband and I, we both have been writing a few shows.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think now is the time that we will also start pitching. So I also want to wear a producer's hat.
Yes.
Yes, someday.
Someday. It'll happen, of course it will
Yeah,
happen.
well,
It has to.
I hope it happens soon.
Yeah, it will. It
Thank
will.
you.
I'm very confident it
Thank
will.
you.
We have two more buckets that we've not explored that we're going to get into. The
Okay.
first one is on the lows. Like, your entire trajectory is seeming like a very up and up and up and up and up. But I'm sure that, like everybody, you've had your share of challenges or
Yes,
your
yes,
share
yes.
of lows, as they call it. What were some of them and how did you deal?
So, you know, I wouldn't call them really lows. It is just that there was this time in life where I didn't know what else to do. You know, because TV wasn't exciting enough for me. Because you see, after doing Jussie and a few more daily soaps, I started to, you know, host shows because I didn't want to be a part of a daily soap. Then I started participating in reality shows. I participated in 3. I won all 3. I was like, ab kya kare? Hosting ho gaya, acting ho gaya, you know, ye ho gaya, what to do? So I wanted to take a break from TV. I didn't announce it officially that I'm taking a break, but at that point of time, I was like, there's nothing much left for me to do on TV. And I just took a break. And that was a time where I was just at home wondering what is to be done, what is not to be done. Let's go on a holiday. So I went to London with my parents. I stayed for a month, came back. And that was a time I decided, okay, let's do theatre. I will learn something about myself because this is something I've never done. So I met Rael Padamsee and we did this play called Unfaithfully Yours. We rehearsed for 6 months. We went on stage. Our first day, first show, we broke the sofa on stage and just two actors. And I started getting all kind of, nervousness and butterflies in my stomach. I was like, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit. You know, your mind starts talking to you. First time you're on stage with like 200 people in the audience. What do? There's no director saying cut or action. You're on your own. So that was quite a thing the first night, but I think that gave me that adrenaline rush that I always wanted to be on stage. So I think that was the time I started finding myself again. So it took about 3-4 years. There was this lull where I didn't know what to do or what is happening. But then after that, things started to look bright and started picking up again. And now, of course, with OTT. There's just no looking back. I'm just getting more and more ambitious by the day. I want to do this, that, everything.
So what advice would you give to people who are going through a similar lull in their life? Because that's something that people can learn from. Is there somebody like you, who's seemingly perfect life, in terms of everything that you have. Can go through a lull, and how do you get over
of course. I think we all go through our ups and downs, and that is what life is all about. As long as you're not just in your comfort zone, is good enough. Because I find comfort zone very boring. Only home should be your comfort zone. But when it comes to work, you look for newer challenges. And I think that is how you stay relevant. So if there is a lull, you take your time, spend time on yourself. Realize what are the things that you want to do in life. And don't just give up, because that's the easiest thing to do. Easiest. What is the toughest? The toughest thing is to face your fears, which I always have. No matter what the result is. Pass, fail, doesn't matter. I tried. Yeah, I tried. I've even done bungee jumping. I'll never do it again in my life.
But I did it once. Which actually brings me to the next question that we're trying to decode who you are as a person. Is what is your typical mindset? Are you spiritual at all?
I am.
Yeah, and do you meditate?
I meditate.
And do you believe in the secret or manifestation? Like, just walk me through what is your mindset.
So I am a very disciplined person. I practice Ashtanga yoga in the morning for 2 hours. And then I sit and meditate in the morning. I meditate at night before sleeping. And yes, I do believe in the power of manifestation, because unless you don't see where you want to be, you'll never be there. So I've always seen myself working, happy, doing the things that I love doing. I've always seen myself, leading a fulfilling, satiating life. And that's what happens, because I am attracting that. So I am spiritual.
Amazing. That brings me to the last question. There's so many different things that you've stood for, and we've touched upon them in this time together. What advice would you give people, who are either going through something or are just looking for a little bit of reaffirmation in terms of that timing sometimes is wrong, it's not working out for somebody, whatever it may be. So, and you reek of empowerment because of the very many different things that we discuss. Just what advice would you give people?
Well, it's just about, taking each day as it comes and not being too hard on yourself. We as human beings are taught to be hard on ourselves. I am very kind to myself. I love myself. I take care of myself. I respect myself. I love what I do. So I think it is very important for people to understand that there are days you will feel low. There are days you will feel useless, hopeless, but that's not who you are. If it's not the end, if it's not good, it's really not the end. It's not over. Good things are coming your way. So just be, happy, bright, positive. And even if you're not feeling positive, tomorrow you will. Today, just let it go. Address the issue, live with it, sulk, cry, whatever you want to do, but get up tomorrow. And that's what life is. It hits you, but you have to get up. You have to fight it out. You have to find your way. You have to. Because otherwise, what's the point? It's just this one life we have. So why waste it? do something creative, do something that you are kicked about every day. And I do that because that keeps me sane. I think discipline keeps me focused, keeps me happy. The days I don't practice yoga, I feel useless and hopeless. I'm like, kya ho gaya? So bloated, I don't want to go out.
Yeah.
But the days I meditate, I practice yoga, I read, I work on myself, I feel good about myself.
Yeah.
So I think that is what life is all about, yeah. We got to keep changing, evolving, because change is the only constant. And if we don't, we'll be long lost, forgotten.
Yeah.
And it is very important to move away from things which have worked in the past.
Correct.
Because things which have worked in the past may not work in the future. So it's a change. Yeah.
That's good advice.
That's a lot of advice.
Yeah, that's good advice. I think everybody will have something to pick from.
Yeah, free ka bahut sara advice de diya. Nobody wants advice
But
these
anything
days.
free is good.
Well, Gyan definitely is not good. But I'm just saying how I have lived my life.
No,
so
it was good. It was
yeah.
good. Yeah. Thank you so
Thank you,
much for
Karishma.
doing this, and I'm so excited that I got to meet Jessie. To watch her on TV.
Oh, thank you. Thank
And
you.
you're just so positive, and you're filled with so much life, and outdid the expectations of this interview. Honestly,
Arey, thank you.
Thank you, and all the best. And can't wait to see you as producer now.
Oh, yes. It's happening
We're
soon.
manifesting it here.
We are. We are.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
If you like this episode, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon. Thank you all for being the best community, and I'll see you soon.